Happy CES Day, everybody.
Woo!
And if you're in the Long Island area and you see any Christmas trees on the streets that are being thrown out, is very important. Please,
fake Christmas trees specifically.
Deliver them straight to our mother.
Yes, she randomly texted us again today. Our weekly reminder that if we see a fake Christmas tree being thrown out, we need to pick it up and cart it over to their house.
Now, I gotta be honest.
Yes.
Definitely seen some people throwing out Christmas trees. No shot. I'm throwing it in my car and driving it over to their house.
I had a funny thing happen to me the other day.
Then I got all the needles and stuff in the car. Like, you need a tarp. You need to carry a tarp with you.
That's why she's asking for fake trees.
They're gonna still do it.
So I had a funny thing happen to me the other day. I already threw out my Christmas tree like a good person. My neighbor just recently threw theirs out.
You got a real one.
I get a real one because my wife demands a real one.
I did see a real one on today, like around the block.
So my neighbor just threw out their real tree, and for some reason it was so windy, it rolled over to my garbage. Where it sat for 2 days because recycling says they take the Christmas trees if you put it in a bag, and that is a lie. Your government is lying to you folks. They don't take the Christmas trees if they're in a bag.
The fucking recycling and garbage around here is the worst.
It's pretty
They're
bad.
so petty. I've talked about this before, how I get little notes on that seem like tickets.
Yeah.
But anyway, our mother wants Christmas trees because
something to do, like,
she's filling a gap in the backyard with fake trees.
Yeah.
Which honestly, not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. The problem though is that it's our problem.
Yes, she expects us to just drive all around Long Island looking for fake Christmas trees.
I guess I gotta keep a tarp in my car.
Yeah,
because I'm not just yucking someone else's fake tree in my car.
I have car seats in my car, and I would have to take them out, lower the seats, shove the tree in, drop it off, and then do it all in reverse. You know?
Those are a bitch to take out.
They are. We're not in high school anymore going around the rich people area of Long Island looking for TVs for my friend Jake's room.
We used to, I was telling this to Hannah, we used to drive around to the rich areas of Long Island and go through their garbage. That was like a night, like a fun night for us.
You find some good stuff there.
Get a nice ottoman.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, hey guys,
welcome to the Wulff Den podcast.
It's CES time right now, and there's already some pretty big news. It's day one. CES
really?
is
I thought day one was yesterday.
I don't know.
Maybe it's like E3 where it technically starts 2 days before.
It might be the whole week.
Maybe.
CES is the Consumer Electronic Expo.
Consumer Electronics Show.
Sorry. Consumer Electronics Show. It is in Vegas. I've always wanted to go.
Yeah.
Not gonna go. And there was a lot of cool stuff that I thought was worth talking about. And notably, the big deal one is MSI, another computer and motherboard and chip manufacturer, is throwing their hat in the PC handheld ring. And I'm excited for that.
And there's a extra special thing about it, which we'll get into when we talk about it.
It's already in the title. It's Intel. It's an Intel-based one. Which, so that's a big deal.
Yes.
I said it's the first of the Intel-based PC handhelds. It probably isn't the very first.
Right.
But since the Steam Deck, we've gotten a lot of...
They're all AMD.
They've all been AMD. We've gotten a lot of PC handhelds, and they're all AMD. This is the first one that I've seen that's Intel, and that's a big deal for a lot of reasons. I tweeted about it, and there was a lot of shade being thrown. Like, people don't like that it's Intel.
I think gamers recently have like shifted towards AMD for a lot of reasons.
AMD has historically been the cheaper one.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Which is good for a handheld.
Yes. I've also been told like their thermal handling is better, AMD, because like Intel's had a lot of problems with the...
So I've heard about that recently.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the reasons why Apple started making their own chips, because Intel couldn't keep their thermals down enough to Apple standards.
When I first started building a computer, I had an AMD explode on me because I was changing the CPU fan while it was on.
Well, there's your first mistake.
It literally exploded. the little it's like literally the core, like the core part turned to paste and fucking exploded and burned my hand. Anyway, yeah, I never knew that about Intel, that it was synonymous with heat issues. I also saw just a random YouTube video today that had nothing to do with the MSI shitting on Intel for having weird thermal issues. So I'm sure we'll get into that. I think it's cool. I always thought there was more support for Intel, but these days there seems to be more support in a handheld form factor for AMD, especially the Ryzen. I mean the what's the fucking one that everybody has now? I thought
it was the Ryzen.
No, the Z1 Extreme. Yeah. Z1 Extreme.
I think Intel is still the standard, but more and more people are adapting to AMD faster than they have in the past.
AMD has some interesting leg ups in that they make everything. They got the CPU, the GPU.
Who's the GPU that
NVIDIA?
NVIDIA. They own NVIDIA?
Wait, who are you talking about?
AMD owns a GPU.
AMD. It's their Ryzen. They call them something, but it is AMD.
Right, but they bought a GPU manufacturer and like rolled that into the company.
How long ago?
It was like a few years ago. It was one of the big ones. Was it ATI?
Radeon? Well, Radeon is what ATI was always NVIDIA. I thought. Or did they buy them many moons ago?
ATI. I think it was Radeon.
Radeon.
Yeah, ATI Radeons.
Everyone's saying ATI.
Yeah, AMD.
I always thought that was AMD.
No.
When did they buy it?
They were acquired by AMD in 2006.
Yeah, See, that's when I started building computers.
Okay, well, I remember ATI because their logo was on the GameCube. They powered the GameCube.
Yeah, so it was always ATI and AMD versus Intel and NVIDIA.
Right.
But NVIDIA might go rogue. I mean, Intel's been making their own GPUs, or trying to. And NVIDIA's, they already make their own CPUs for mobile. The silicone on a chip, whatever they call it, SoC.
System on a chip.
System on a chip, the whole thing. So NVIDIA might go rogue on their own.
Yeah.
And Intel might be... it's going to get weird in the next few years. But anyway... What else are we going to be talking about? There's a lot of
stuff
news
coming from CES.
There's TVs that you look through the TV.
It's like glass.
That's fucked up.
There's TVs. Sony showed off a bunch of stuff. Hyperkin showed off some cool stuff.
I gotta see the Hyperkin stuff. I thought they died.
No. And then regular ass gaming news from the past week.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have in our notes Kim Kardashian.
There's a reason for it.
So I put an article under your article that I thought had more like specs and stuff.
Okay.
It was more recent. I think this guy finally got a hands on with it.
Got it.
This is the MSI Claw that we were just talking about, the Intel powered MSI Claw. It looks a lot like the Asus ROG Ally.
Yes.
It looks pretty much the same. You even have the RGB lights. The ABXY buttons, the font is the same, the jewels look the same, even these grill cutouts are the same, the D-pad's the same. It's bigger though. It's slightly thicker. And it's definitely going to be louder. I'll read this. Between the Asus ROG Ally, the Lenovo Legion Go, and the Steam Deck, AMD has a virtual monopoly over the chips powering high-end gaming handhelds. But for the Claw, MSI is partnering up with Intel to bring a more balance to the portable PC performance wars. They got to really put alliteration in there. I like how they're showing Sonic Superstars. On paper and in its design, MSI Claw shares a lot with the ROG Ally. It has a 7-inch full HD LCD screen with 500 nits of brightness and 120 hertz refresh rate. I think it's the exact same screen that's in the ROG Ally.
Okay.
Which is good because that means it also supports variable refresh rate. The Lenovo Legion Go has a big, beautiful screen, but it's native portrait.
Weird.
So it's supposed to be like in a tablet.
Yeah.
So that means you know how in a Switch scenes.
Yeah.
You know how in a on a TV, if you film a TV in slow motion, it draws the lines like this.
Yeah.
A native portrait screen will draw the lines like this.
Right.
Down. So that means you can't have things like variable refresh rate or G-Sync or whatever the fuck. So it's worse in that way. Even though it's a higher refresh rate, I'd rather have this type of screen.
Got it.
Then you can get variable refresh. Even its case looks familiar. Yeah, it's got the same sort of grips. I think the grips are a little bigger. And I saw Dave 2D's video on it. I don't know how he gets these things so early. He said he likes the way it feels better.
The article does say the Claw is bigger, does have bigger grips, makes it more comfortable to hold.
Yeah, I personally would rather it be easier to, like, portable, like smaller and portable. But whatever. But that's where the similarities come to an end, because on the inside, the Claw is powered by either an Intel Core Ultra 7 or Core Ultra 5 chip, depending on the configuration. That's a pretty big departure amongst the sea of AMD-based alternatives, and may have some people wondering if Intel's first foray into high-end gaming handhelds can keep up. That's because in addition to a new chip, developers will be relying on Intel's integrated ARC graphics, and a library of drivers that simply aren't as deep or as well tested as AMD's. It's also unclear how much the NPU inside Intel's latest chip will help with things like XESS super sampling, which is sure to play a big part in the Claw's capabilities. I will say I was surprised when I started playing with these PC handhelds.
Yeah.
I was surprised at how well games were optimized for them. Like the Z1 Extreme seemed to have a lot of support for a lot of these big beefy games.
Right.
So much so that when Starfield came out, they updated the ROG Ally for it, and then all of the other Z1 Extreme like drivers kind of followed suit. So it'd be interesting to see how Intel keeps up. I have an ARC GPU, and it's good, but not all of the developers are keeping up support for it. So I don't know what's going to happen here. However, even on the pre-production models with unfinished software, including beta drivers that I tested, things were surprisingly smooth. Launching games was snappy, and I only ran into a small handful of hitches. Well, I mean, he's probably playing games that they want him to play, you know? Yeah. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to pull up MSI's built-in performance monitor, as its MSI Center game launcher is still work in progress. A spokesperson I talked to claimed that during internal testing, the Claw delivered 20 to 25% higher frame rates than an equivalent AMD-based handheld in 14 out of 15 popular titles. That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's a pretty big claim, but if those figures carry over to a larger library of modern games, AMD might soon find itself playing catch-up. Actually, that's not that surprising, because it has higher specs. It also has Thunderbolt 4, a Thunderbolt 4 port, which is awesome.
Yeah.
These other ones have it's not Thunderbolt. Like the Lenovo has
just USB.
It's USB 4, I think.
Yeah.
This has Thunderbolt 4, which is crazy because that's what this thing has.
Yeah.
And that's what that dock over there is. So that'd be really cool to have. Which brings faster data speeds. It's got Wi-Fi 7. It's got Bluetooth 5.4. Also, while I didn't have enough time to test its longevity, the 53 watt-hour battery should give the Claw some significant advantage over the ROG Ally with just a 40 watt-hour pack. There's huge mesh vents on the back too. There's like a mode, you press a button and it just turns all the fans on, and it's insanely loud.
Yeah.
even this early, there's a lot to like about the MSI's new Intel-based handheld. And when you factor in the Claw starts at $700 with the Ultra 5 chip, 16 gigabytes of RAM, and 512 gigabytes of storage, and $750 for a faster model with the Core Ultra 7 CPU, and $800 for that with 1 terabyte. They're leaving out the fact that it has 32 gigabytes of RAM.
The expensive model?
Was that rumored?
I don't know.
Was that not a thing?
Maybe not.
That's disappointing because that was a. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything about it. So that was a lie? 3 days ago. 16 core Intel CPU up to 32 gigabytes of RAM. But that, I think, is rumor. Oh, that's a leak.
Oh.
I think the leaks were wrong. Wow, that's disappointing because that was another huge deal. If it, because everything else is 16 gigabytes of RAM right now. Having 32 would blow everyone else out of the water, and it would make sense why it would get more frames. Now we're just relying on Intel's CPU, which everyone seems to think might be a problem. But I think that pricing is pretty good. $750. I mean, I'm gonna have to get the faster one,
right?
So I wish that it was just 700, but whatever. I'll take what I can get. I did see the inside. Dave 2D opened it up, and I didn't see where the SSD was. So that concerns me a little bit. It does seem easy to open, but you might have to take the battery out or something to get to the SSD. Otherwise, I'd imagine it's pretty easy to upgrade if you need. But if people are worried about thermals, the fans kick up really high. So, and they also claim to get more battery life and stuff. So there's a lot about this that I think will be really cool. I don't like how it's bigger than the ROG Ally, but I'm excited to check it out. I'm excited to see what Intel can do with this.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they can keep up with the same performance as what AMD has proven they can do with the other handhelds. And MSI too, now it's another company entering into the handheld gaming market.
Yeah, any of these big companies jumping in is good for the whole industry. It's keeping everybody, getting the competition going between all of them.
Yeah, and it takes it out of like that niche market and puts it into a more mainstream audience. Because Asus and Lenovo and MSI sell their product in brick and mortar stores.
Yeah.
So when like mom and dad go out to like Best Buy or Walmart or whatever, and they see that on the shelf, they'll talk about that and they'll get interested in that and they'll bring that home to little Jimmy and Timmy.
I was at Best Buy. They have the ROG Ally, right?
Yes.
No, they have the Logitech G Cloud.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they have the other ones. I'm not sure. You guys tell me. I don't know what else they have.
Well,
I know in Japan, they all had everything. Every store had all of them.
Also, too, because I like Ein Odin and Iron Neo and those are niche products that essentially do the same thing.
May Pecco says, I got my ROG Ally from Best Buy.
There you go. Best Buy does carry the Ally.
Yeah. No one carries the Steam Deck.
No one carries the Steam Deck but Steam.
Valve,
yeah. But yeah, so you had the Iron Neo, the Ein Odin, and then the Steam Deck.
What am I talking about? I bought the Lenovo from Best Buy. I bought it from Best Buy.
Point is, in the past, they've been more niche products, more enthusiast products. The Steam Deck was the most mainstream of them all, but you had to get that through Steam.
Right.
And now they're, we have an explosion of high-powered handhelds that can play video games on. And we're not that far removed from people saying, oh, the handheld gaming market is dead because everyone's just playing on their iPhones now. Angry Birds is the future.
I mean, Apple did some cool shit.
I saw your video. Yes, I am impressed by it. But that's still like... That still feels like baby steps.
Oh, we are 10 years out from me wanting to play games.
Yeah, that's still like when the mobile revolution like launched and like Angry Birds and Cut the Rope and like Fruit Ninja, like that was crawling. and Apple is finally starting to walk with Resident Evil and, you know, Assassin's Creed Mirage coming to iPhone and stuff. They're not ready to run yet with like, you know, GTA 6 and like the latest shit that's coming out.
Yeah, it could happen. I mean, we're in a great time right now where the big AAA companies are making games with weaker hardware in mind.
Yeah.
And these big chip companies are giving developers tools to make things for as much hardware as possible. So like in the past, if games required specific hardware to do like if you had foliage that blew in the wind, you needed a GTX card or something. Like you could not use a different card in order to do it the way that they did it. But now it's like if you have weaker hardware, the lights won't look as nice. But like there's plenty of different ways to develop for all types of different hardware now. So much so that you could put fucking Resident Evil 4 on your iPhone. Or Resident Evil Village on your iPhone. So anyway, I think this thing will be cool. I'm excited to see what they can do with an Intel-based handheld. Because I'm glad we're getting something different, because I'm getting sick of seeing the AMD Z1 Extreme. Like, that's not as exciting if it's the same thing. Like, it's cool that Lenovo jumped in, because that's another big player, but it's the same thing as the ROG Ally. All right, that's just one of the things from CES. The most exciting that I
And we just jumped right in. We didn't thank anybody at the top of the show. We didn't talk about these 2 bags of Oreos that we had.
Let's give me an Oreo.
Okay. So, story about this. Bob texts me and he goes, "Hey, if you see the black and white cookie Oreos, get them." And I'm like, "Okay." And I got them.
And then we both got them. And neither of us thought to text the other one, "Hey, I got them."
Yep. Because I'm still living the fantasy of the old days back when we were known as Wulff Den Live, where I would just surprise you with the Oreos. I thought we still had that magic. We don't anymore.
Even though I said, get these. Did you notice they are smaller?
Yes, I noticed that immediately.
They
are significantly smaller.
It's like $5 for this shit. And they are smaller than a normal package of Oreos.
Yeah.
Also, I showed these to people, and a lot of people said, so they're just Oreos. Because, like, the flavor is black and white.
I feel like black and white cookies, not that they're an exclusively a New York thing, but they are, like...
They're a New York thing.
They are, a New York cornerstone, if you will.
Black and white, also known as the best cookie.
It is a top
because it's basically not even a cookie.
Yeah,
it's cake.
It's cake.
It's just cake that is in the shape of a cookie.
All right, let me see this.
We got vanilla wafer, half vanilla normal, I guess, filling, and then half chocolate. That's not normal vanilla filling. That's birthday cake.
I'm getting a lot of the actual cookie part in this.
Yeah.
But I feel like in order to
that's what that is?
I feel like in order to properly taste like what the cream is, I'd have to like just deconstruct it and eat it piece by piece, like a madman. So I'm gonna do that live on camera.
The wafer is very vanilla.
Yeah.
So much so that I thought I was tasting birthday cake.
We'll eat this first.
Unless they're trying to go for like a cake taste, which is fine. That makes sense.
Get the nice crunch in for the audio listeners.
So a little aside, I was at Stop and Shop, and they had big boxes of black and white cookies, and it said $5.50 for a big box of black and white, full black and white cookies. So I got them, ended up being $7. Not bad, because it came with 6 big black and white cookies.
Right.
Open it up. They're fake black and white cookies, where the white covers the whole thing, and then they put the black on top. Bullshit black and white cookies. I got.
So the icing does taste like a black and white cookie.
Get in the icing.
The icing specifically. So it is masked by the actual cookie part.
So is this a regular?
Yeah,
this one's like a yin yang.
Yeah.
So is this a regular vanilla wafer, or is this specifically like a birthday cake thing?
No, this is a regular cookie.
Yeah. Yeah, it is, yeah. I think the vanilla part is birthday cake.
Okay. Now, I have a psychopath friend who only eats half the black and white cookie.
Wait, which half? And that's very important.
I think he only eats the vanilla half.
What a piece of shit.
Now, my question is, how is he going to eat this?
You should see.
Maybe I will.
Okay, so I don't know if the two sides are different.
What do you mean?
I think it's just food coloring. I think they might taste the same.
No.
It's like a little birthday cake.
That the chocolate is definitely chocolate.
That does taste like a black and white cookie.
Yeah.
They put a little bit of the birthday cake, but not enough.
Right.
Like, not too much. Because that's what it is. That's what black and white cookie is. It's cake.
Yeah.
That's pretty fucking good. Yeah, good job.
Yeah. Hooray for Oreo.
That's a good cookie. Not too much chocolate either.
Yeah. Like the right amount.
Right amount. We do have a lot of delis around here
Yeah.
that do black and white cookies, and they do white and white cookies.
Yeah.
They don't do black and black cookies.
Which we'll let you figure out why that's problematic.
Long Island, baby.
Yeah.
Your psychopathic friend fits right in. All right. Anyway. Have they talked about the Intel handheld yet? No, we've only talked about black and white. No, we talked about it for a while. We got a bunch of notifications here. I filled out a thing so that we can get memberships on YouTube.
Okay.
On this podcast channel.
Yes.
I don't think I finished filling out the thing. So hopefully next time we'll have that. They wanted me to like write a whole thing, and I just can't do it. But anyway, on Twitch, we got Johnny Reefer, thanks for the 5 months. Professor Clockwork, thanks for the 11 months. Happy Pod Day. Hope you're both doing well, Wolf Bros. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jin Wong, thanks for the 17 months. Hi, Bob. And Will, showing some love. Thank you. Mecha Dragon, thanks for the 100 bits. It's my birthday tomorrow, bros. I turned 32. How was your bros 32? Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
32?
32.
That was 2 years ago for me.
That was 4 years ago for me.
Well, I don't think I did anything.
Yeah.
After 30, your birthdays stop mattering.
Yeah. Well, that was 2020 when I turned 32.
Oh.
I stayed indoors.
I don't know what I did.
I had a kid.
I don't know.
Look at me now.
Hannah, tell me what we did 2 years ago. King Wizard, thanks for the 18 months. It's the Super Wolf Bros. I went around the sun today.
Oh, he also had a birthday.
Oh, happy birthday. Speak English. Side Duck Scooter, thanks for the Prime. Alex Buckingham, thanks for the Prime. Sachi, thanks for the 7 months. Monkey, thanks for the 12 months. Rented, thanks for the Prime. Jake the Bad Snake, thanks for the 8 months. May Pecco, thanks for the 8 months. Azzy Mandis, thanks for the 30 months. Catching Alive, have my sub boys. Will, loving the Ultimate Spider-Man run so far. Thanks for the recommendation.
You're welcome. They're launching a new Ultimate Spider-Man series tomorrow. The twist is he's an adult when he gets his powers.
Is it Peter Parker?
Yeah. But like he's already like married and has kids and like is like a successful functioning human being. And that's when he gets his powers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe. Who's drawing it?
Marco Cicchetto. He did the Punisher with Greg Rucka. He's like you'd know him if you saw him.
Okay. And Mecha Dragon, thanks for the 100 bits. Also, bros, Long Island Retro announced their dates for this year. Hope they actually invite you to as a guest this year. And Bandana Diddle, thanks for the Prime. We'll be going.
Yeah, we'll be there.
Probably
regardless of whether or not we're invited. We'll just show up.
Yeah, probably on the Saturday.
Can't keep us out of Our hometown.
And Crispy XX for the Prime. All right, we thanked enough people.
Yes.
Why does it show that we're offline, but there's a bunch of people?
I had to refresh.
Twitch.
I had to refresh.
Oh, whoops. Twitch. They launched AV1 encoding. So they, believe it or not, Twitch has a video feature for the first time in like 10 years.
Yeah.
And it broke it doesn't work right. But it's good that it's in beta because AV1 encoding means we'll get higher quality streams.
Right.
It also means you can stream up to 1440p. Also, that computer that's sitting down there,
yes,
that's not doing anything, that's got an Intel GPU in it that is specifically for AV1 encoding. So hopefully that'll all work out. Holy shit. Anyway, what's next? Let's look at TVs.
Yes.
That you can see your wall through.
All right, well, it was an interesting year for TVs that you can see your wall through, because first, LG brought the world's first wireless transparent OLED TV.
I don't like wireless. I don't like that they're saying wireless.
Yeah, I don't think the trend of like wireless TVs is going to catch on, because like there are still wires.
Yeah,
but
like
wires still need to go somewhere.
Like when I think of a wireless TV, I'm thinking of like a slate that you just put on, like a picture frame that you just put on your wall. You don't have to do anything. You got to plug it in.
Yeah.
To a power outlet.
Yeah.
And it comes with this giant like wireframe thing. It looks like what would you call that? Like a bookshelf?
Yeah. Like
it has to have this whole thing.
Well, okay, so I saw a different wireless TV where it's basically a TV. It's like a really skinny TV. You know, it's got the power cord in it, so that's the one cord. But then it has a breakout box that's separate, and you plug everything into the box, and it beams all that information to the TV.
I mean, this might also be that, but I'm saying, like, this piece requires the rest of it.
Yeah.
Like, that's all part of it.
Right.
So, this is stupid. But anyway...
Yes.
The technology's interesting. The fact that it's transparent. I'm very curious how the transparency works.
Okay, so this is the LG OLED T. Is what the company calls the first wireless transparent OLED TV, 4K resolution, and features LG's wireless transmission tech for audio and video. The unit also featured a contrast screen that rolls down into a box in its base that you can raise or lower with the press of a button. The OLED T is powered by LG's new Alpha 11 AI processor with 4 times the performance of the previous gen chip. The extra power offers 70% greater graphics performance and 30% faster processing speeds, according to the company. The OLED T works with the company's Zero Connect box that debuted last year with the M3 OLED. That might be the one I'm thinking of. That sends a video and audio wirelessly to the TV. You connect all of your streaming devices and game consoles to that box rather than to the television.
Yeah, so it looks like that's the box?
Yeah, that's the TV I'm thinking about.
Look, there's a wire. Yeah. There's a wire right there. There's a wire.
I mean, that's for power, but like your PlayStation, your DVD player, your whatnot, like that goes into the breakout box.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
Now, these are not going to be good for playing games on.
Probably not.
There's going to be some wacky input lag, especially because of the weird transparency.
Yeah. The base houses downfiring speakers, which sound surprisingly good, as well as some other components. There are backlights as well, but you can turn those on for a fully transparent look. LG says the TV will come in standalone, against the wall, and wall-mounted options. At first, some of the visuals on the TV are a bit unsettling. A singer on the transparent display appeared to be actually in the room in miniature form, of course. Things like a fish tank were a bit more pleasant to look at, and movie clips were crisp and vivid. LG also put on what's called a T-bar on the OLED T, adding crayon-like mix of news, weather, song titles, and more along the bottom, while the rest of the screen stays clear. So it doesn't sound like they actually showed traditional content. Yes. On here. They showed content that highlights the fact that it's transparent.
So they did show a TV show.
Okay.
I don't know what show it was. They showed a clip from a TV show.
Okay.
it was weird because like they showed it with the black back, and then they rolled the black back down, and you still saw some blacks.
Okay.
Everything else they showed, like this fish tank, for example, the black is completely transparent. They showed another thing where like there was this weird like rock guy walking.
Yeah.
And he had some black in his like makeup, I guess.
Right.
And that faded away when the thing rolled down. So like, you know, when you're this is what I want to know. You know, when you're in Photoshop and you take a layer and you make it a screen layer, that removes all of the black.
Right.
And it makes all of the black transparent.
Yeah.
So if I were to take a picture of me and make it a screen layer, my beard would disappear.
Right.
Is that how this works? Because they also showed a singer singing, and like her eyelashes didn't disappear; they were still there. So I'm confused by that.
Yeah,
some of the images looked like they just turned into a screen layer in Photoshop. Some of them looked like they worked somehow.
Yeah, I don't know. There's still a lot of questions on like how exactly this works. Like, where is this picture coming from? Because if it's transparent, you can see like, you know, where you can theoretically see like how they're beaming it to the screen.
Yeah, I want to know how
really see.
It's got to be
bottom up.
Yeah, well,
from the base and their.
But then something has to meet it to stop the light. You know, like it's a laser beaming up, but then something's got to.
Well, I mean, the top of the glass would stop
but
it
has to stop it in the middle where the pixel is. You know,
right?
Got to draw the pixel. Unless it's writing really fast and we just don't realize it. But yeah, I want to know how it knows what is black as a transparency and what is black that we want to see.
Yeah.
And like, you know how like you print something on a piece of paper? A printer can't print white.
Yeah.
A TV can't print black.
Yeah.
You know, well, I mean, you know,
for proper black.
Yeah. So black is just off. So that's how this seems to work, but it also seemed to kind of get black sometimes. Maybe it's just like a little above black. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's enough to be a pixel, but still, like a pixel that's like a little black is really dim.
Yeah.
So it also weird that they always show it in front of a wall that has a little bit of like. It's like white or off-white or something.
Well, that's how, you know, they can show off the transparency of it.
Yeah, so it would probably look best in a dark room with a dark colored wall. The video you are talking about, it's from CNET. Mute everything. Yeah, this is it, yeah.
Okay.
So this like singer, she looked pretty transparent there.
That's the rock guy?
That guy, yeah, I don't know why I thought he was a rock guy.
Okay.
But he's completely transparent. Like, the blacks in his body just go away.
Yeah. Yeah, I see it lowering.
Yeah, that's the like, this thing. I actually did not see this video. I saw like a much quicker version. Okay, so it is just a screen layer.
So then does that mean you have to pull that screen up if you want to watch traditional content?
Oh, I'm not showing it on screen. I'm sorry. Yeah, if you want to watch it without the transparency, yeah. Well, if you have the screen down, blacks will just be transparent.
So then what's the point of having a transparent TV then?
I also the microphone is kind of black, but it's not transparent. So that's interesting. But like her eyelashes are actually transparent, I think. There's no point. This is literally it's a tech demo. It's like a fun little party trick.
Right.
Yeah.
Some things will look cool. I'm just imagining like if this thing were to come to market, like who is the market for this? Who would actually want a transparent TV?
That might be a little more understanding when you look at the Samsung one. Let's look at the Samsung one.
Yes, because Samsung debuted the world's first transparent micro LED screens at CES 2024. Two companies, both introducing the first transparent TVs. Samsung showcased micro LED displays side by side next to transparent OLED and transparent LCD models to really highlight the difference between the tech. Compared to the others, not only was micro LED panel significantly brighter, it also featured a completely frameless design and more transparent glass panel that made it easier to see objects behind it. In person, the effect Samsung's transparent micro OLED displays have is hard to describe, as content almost looks like a hologram as it floats in midair. The demo unit was freestanding and measured only about 1 centimeter thick, which adds even more to the illusion of a floating screen. Additionally, because of micro LED's high pixel density, images also looked incredibly sharp. So far, Samsung has only uploaded a single vertical video overflowing with EDM, but hopefully it gives you some idea of what we saw. According to a Samsung spokesperson, because transparent micro LED displays have higher brightness compared to transparent OLED panels, they are also less impacted by ambient light. The bad news is that with Samsung's current crop of non-transparent micro LED TVs currently costing $150,000 for a 110-inch size model, it is going to be a decently long time until the new display becomes anything close to affordable.
Yeah, so it's for like displays. Like there's you're not getting this to actually enjoy content. You're getting this the Samsung one specifically is like long. It's not like a normal aspect ratio. That looks like you're going to see that in a store, like to display information about a product or something. You're not going to have that in your living room to watch the game.
You know somebody's like, when they eventually get this down to like a reasonable size, like 32 inches, some weirdo is going to buy a transparent TV for their living room.
Yeah, there'll be like a designer who's like designing a house for a rich person, and they're going to be like, this is the center point of the living room, is this transparent TV. And then the guy's going to be like, you got me a fucking transparent TV.
You got me glass.
I'm trying to watch my own movies on it, you know? Like, he's going to be pissed that he's got to watch. That screen's just going to be rolled up the whole time. He's not even going to know that he could turn it down. Whatever. I there's going to be people who buy it, but that's not what it's for. It's for displaying in like I mean, the LG one though comes in like a stand that looks like it belongs in a living room.
Yeah.
The Samsung one looks like it's for a storefront or a
now
advertisement or something. Yeah. There are those people who do buy a TV every single year.
Yeah.
We call them psychopaths. Haven't heard much from those people. Like, what are we getting every year? Like,
I think
everyone got the LG C whatever. Everyone got that, and then that's it.
I think
for years,
TVs have finally gotten to the point where it doesn't matter anymore. Like, all TVs are a baseline good.
Yeah.
You know, it's only really like people who really care about HDMI 2.1 who are like really seeking out like the high end stuff.
Yeah, we're nitpicking here when we're like, I want this thing to be 120 hertz. I want the fastest response time, and all that stuff is like nitpicking because for the most part they're all fine.
Yeah.
I will say though, when I was still at the studio in Brooklyn, E got this insanely huge Sony TV.
Yeah.
That must have been very expensive. It was massive. It was like 80 inches or something. Playing a game on there was so slow. It was, the response time was horrible. So like there's situations like that where like, I mean, we're getting it specifically for games. Like if I'm going to watch football, I don't need anything new. You know, they're all fine.
Yeah.
But if you're playing a game, there's plenty of new technologies for that. But even so, like the ones that came out when the PlayStation 5 came out, they've all been fine. They've all been fine since then. It used to be like, oh, this year 3D TVs.
Yeah.
And then everyone had to throw out their $2,000 TVs from the year before and get the 3D TVs.
No. Curve TVs.
And then the curve happened and everyone's like, whoa. Let me throw out my 3D TV so that everyone can enter my living room by walking around the curve of my TV. I want to make it so that people on the edge of the couch can't see the top right corner of the screen. Anyway, that's hey, CES crazy.
Yeah,
we're getting transparent TVs. Let's get back. I want to know what Hyperkin's doing.
Okay, well, first things first. That's something you're excited about, I know. Hyperkin announces the Mega 95, a new gaming handheld from Hyperkin that's designed to play original Sega Genesis and Mega Drive games. It's equipped with a 5-inch display that has a toggle to switch between 4.3 and 16:9 modes, and a battery that Hyperkin says should last about 10 hours per charge. Think of it.
It crashed my Chrome.
Think of it as a modern take on the Genesis Nomad with roughly 3 times the battery life and other modern conveniences. The handheld looks to be a portable version of Hyperkin's Mega Retro N HD gaming console, the existing Genesis-compatible retro console released in 2018, which now sells for $60. Hyperkin's press release doesn't go into detail about how the Mega 95 runs its classic Genesis titles, but the Mega Retro N HD reportedly used a hardware emulation approach with quality that sits somewhere between a software emulator and a premium FPGA console, similar to Analog's Mega SG.
Whoa. Somewhere between?
Yeah.
Software emulation and premium FPGA base. Quality that sits somewhere between. So what is it really, though? That to me says it's just software.
Yeah, because like when I think of hardware emulation, I think of FPGA.
Yeah,
because that's what it is. It's a piece of hardware that's emulating the original stuff.
Yeah,
unless they found chipsets that are comparable to an original Genesis, but even then,
that's still FPGA. Yeah. Well, it's still hardware emulation.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Hyperkin is known for software emulation.
Yes.
Like, it was cool back in the day when they were the only game in town.
Yeah.
But now we're seeing all this cool, exciting technology that gets us a lot closer to the actual original experience, but in a modern way with like a nice new screen. There's nothing about this that excites me one bit. Like, if this is just for Genesis and Mega Drive. Yeah. This is just for Genesis and Mega Drive. Why is the screen that aspect ratio?
Yeah, I don't understand why it has a 16:9 screen.
That's insane.
Yeah. Because I mean, unless they think, it's a modern piece of hardware, it has to come with a 16:9 screen. No, it doesn't. Mm-hmm. You fit it with a 4:3 screen because that's what all Genesis games are. My guess is 4:3 screens have to be custom made now, and they don't want to pay the extra money for custom made games.
They're more expensive. Yeah, they're a lot more expensive. But there exists 4:3 screen. They would have to be smaller though, probably. Yeah. I mean, Hyperkin has to do a lot more to get me excited about something, and it's also hard to get me excited about something that's Sega Genesis. Like, even though I grew up with Sega Genesis,
and you've always wanted a Nomad.
I've always wanted a Nomad.
Now's your chance.
But you
can have Nomad at home.
This is not even close. Also, I don't know what else Hyperkin's got up their sleeve, but where the fuck is their Game Boy and the N64? Those are the only cool things that they've announced.
They did announce an N64.
Those are the only cool things that I've ever seen from Hyperkin that I'm like, ooh.
Yeah.
Actually, there was the light gun.
Yeah.
They made a light gun. Did that even ever come out? Because they made that and we were like, that's cool. And also the Duke controller was cool because it had a light on it.
Yeah.
That's probably the coolest thing Hyperkin's made in years.
Yeah.
Or ever, maybe. Is the Xbox controller that had a screen in the middle.
Yeah. So there's also going to be a dock for this, so you can plug it into your TV and it'll have ports for original Genesis controllers. And they don't have a price for it yet, but Hyperkin's SNES emulation machine currently sells for $120. So it'll probably be roughly around that much.
Now that is the Superboy.
Yes.
Which I like. I have one that if you watch my streams when I'm in the other room, I have one of these little TVs that has a Mega Man playing on it all the time. I have a Superboy plugged in. So it's great. It's useful.
Yeah. I think the thing with this is it's probably this article does mention that it could end up being more affordable and more readily available than an analog pocket. And I think that's what this is. This is more for people who like just want to play their Sega Genesis games in the most convenient way possible. And this could be it for them.
But you could still make this, and you could still make this on a budget and have it be better than what it is right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't. I mean, really, the only thing that I could see is just making it fucking a 4x3 screen. There's absolutely no reason to have a 16:9 screen. Even if you do have a 16:9 screen, you can hide it.
Yeah.
You can hide the ends of it, like what they do with the modded Game Boy. I'm also extremely skeptical of the emulation quality because saying somewhere between software and FPGA, say what it is.
I know Hyperkin, like they traditionally use software emulation. Yeah. And that's not necessarily a problem. Software
it's just
emulation.
It's not exciting.
It's come a long way. And for 90% of people, that's okay.
It's just not exciting unless you let me store my ROMs on it, which I don't think. If this thing had the ability to rip from the cartridge, I'd be excited.
Right.
Because then I just take all of our games and you just dump them in. And then I have a library of all my games. That'd be sick.
I think their Atari thing, their Retro 77, you can upload ROMs to it. They put a limit on the amount of ROMs you can have, but like I know people have like jailbroken it, maxed it out.
Yeah, there's just not a lot. I think I'm not excited because I know previous Hyperkin products, and this just looks like those, and not very exciting. I even think the Superboy had a wide screen. Yeah, it did. It had a 16:9 screen, and I think it had a toggle to stretch it.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned the Hyperkin Duke before.
Yeah.
They're back at it again with the other Xbox controller.
Yeah, what is just the smaller one? The later revision
The controller S.
Okay.
Yeah. Hyperkin, following the reissue of the Duke controller, Hyperkin is giving the second controller, the smaller one, the better one, the same treatment.
That better be a screen in the middle, and I don't think it is.
No, I don't think it is either. The original controller S came with the Japanese version of the console, while other markets got the massive Duke controller. Eventually, the more compact controller became the default and superseded the Duke. Hyperkin is calling its take on the more compact gamepad the Duchess, with the S capitalized because it's the controller S.
Duke. Duchess.
Yes.
I get it. Wow.
This will be the third retro Xbox controller designed by Hyperkin. It also released a version of the Duke in 2018, followed by a new version of the Xbox 360 controller called the Xenon last year. Like the previous controllers, the Duchess has been updated to work with modern systems and is officially licensed to work with the Xbox Series X, S, Xbox One, and Windows 10 and 11. There's also a share button built in for the series consoles, a USB-C port, and a 3.5mm headphone jack. Perhaps the most exciting of all is the inclusion of Hall effects joysticks and triggers, which should make them more resistant to growing inaccuracy over the years. Hyperkin only announced that the controller is in development today, and the images above show in-development design for the controllers that may change ahead of release. Pricing has not yet been confirmed.
While you're talking about that, I'm looking at this ad that says Lenovo made a rolling laptop. The screen like rolls out.
Oh, I thought it was on wheels.
It's not a screen. So how could they take? I'm talking about the Xbox controller now.
Right.
How could they take what was so great about their best product and take it out? Remove the best feature.
That screen was probably expensive.
Mm-hmm.
1, 2. There's
the only cool thing.
There's a lot of room in that Duke for a lot of things. Mm-hmm. So they probably had the space in there to put next to put the screen and the hardware for the screen inside. There's not a lot of room in here because this is a regular ass normal size controller.
Who made the Xbox 360 controller? Somebody recently remade Xbox.
Hyperkin.
It was Hyperkin?
It was Hyperkin, yeah.
360?
Yeah. The Xenon.
Oh.
Yeah.
You just said that.
I did.
I was looking at a rolly. You
were looking at a laptop on wheels.
Rolly laptop. So going back to the Hyperkin and FPGA, I didn't mention this, but I don't think FPGA is like the gold standard. Like, I don't think just because it's FPGA that means it's good. Because I have here the Funny Playing Game Boy.
Okay.
Take it. It's just put your fingerprint right on the screen. Why don't you?
Well, you handed it to me.
It is just a Game Boy. It looks like it looks like a Game Boy. It feels like a Game Boy.
About the size, yeah.
Nothing about it is an original Game Boy. It's all made by Funny Playing.
It's all new parts.
It's all new parts. Even the chip inside is an FPGA chip. And it's good. It's not accurate emulation though. The clock speed is wrong. It's like a little off. And you can change the clock speed, but you can't get it exactly accurate.
Well, right now I can't press any buttons because nothing.
Oh, did you know Wario Land 3 has an unskippable cutscene the first time you turn it on?
Now I do.
And I had to erase my save data because I needed to compare the clock speed of two games.
Well, now I'm trying to. Oh, there we go.
Yeah. No, the buttons work. It's just Wario Land 3 is stupid.
36 years of press start on the home screen to start the game, and now all of a sudden you're telling me to press A.
You know what's really annoying? Resident Evil Village and 4, they both say start game.
Yeah.
And the start button doesn't start the game. You have to press A or any of the face buttons.
That sucks.
It just said start game, and where it would normally say press start, it's a start game, and then the start button doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
We're old.
Yes, we're set in our ways.
We're set in our ways. Sakurai just put out a video talking about how you should have fast forward and rewind in cutscenes for video games. And that brought up a good point that like there is no standardized cutscene protocol.
To this day, I am terrified of pressing the start button. They're not even called start button anymore.
Any button during a
cutscene because you could skip it.
Hannah started playing Red Dead Redemption, the first one.
Yeah.
And she skipped cutscenes twice in the very beginning by accident.
Yeah, because back in the day, if you try to pause a cutscene, you can't. It would just skip it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So to this day, I'm like absolutely terrified to press a controller during a cutscene.
Putting a pause in a cutscene is a very good idea.
How does this have such a long intro? It's WarioWare 3. I haven't even gotten a chance to test it.
I would have put a different game in there if I knew you were going to play it. My point is that it looks exactly like a Game Boy. Right. It feels like a Game Boy and plays like a Game Boy. The only problem is when you compare it to an actual Game Boy side by side and you play the same game in both of them, one of them is a little off.
Right. Well, that's what I'm trying to see. Like, how off is it?
You won't notice when you're actually playing it. There's also other weird little quirks, like, for example, if I put in, like, a regular Game Boy game, the colors will be all weird unless I go in and set it to play like a regular Game Boy game. That doesn't act exactly like a Game Boy Color, where a Game Boy Color will just give it colors. Yeah. You have to set it to tell it, like, oh, this is an original Game Boy game, give it colors, or don't give it colors. It's a little annoying. So there'll be a video about that on Thursday where I talk about all that stuff.
Okay. All right. There we go. Yay, I'm playing. Woohoo. Wahoo.
See, like, it feels fine.
Yeah.
You're not going to notice anything. But that's my point is that FPGA is not the goal. It's not the end-all, be-all. It has to be a good FPGA.
Yeah.
But even the Analog Pocket, like my Morbius cartridge, doesn't work.
Doesn't?
No, but it works in a regular Game Boy.
That's interesting.
It barely works on there.
All right, I got the point.
Okay. All right, next. We gotta get going here. We started pretty late.
Yeah.
For a multitude of reasons.
Sony showed off a car that you can drive with a DualSense.
I feel like that's not new. I feel like I've heard about this before.
Well, so the Sony Honda Mobility, a joint venture established in 2021, intends to launch its first electric vehicle model, the Afeela, by 2025, which says it will be built around the premium entertainment experience. Ultimately, Sony Honda Mobility hopes to release a fully self-driving vehicles. Perhaps most striking during its CES presentation on Monday, however, was how it showed Afeela could be driven using a PS5 DualSense controller. Sony Honda Mobility President and COO Izumi Kawanishi claimed that the remote driving demo was a tech showcase only, however. Further blurring the lines between his video game and vehicle operations, Sony also announced a collaboration between Sony Honda Mobility and Gran Turismo developer Polyphony Digital. SHM and Polyphony will partner in vehicle development, Sony says, with the aim of creating a new value with partners by sharing vehicle information. So they've announced this partnership before, as the partnership is not new.
I remember hearing that you can use a DualSense to drive a car. I remember hearing that.
I think that was the goal, and now they're saying you can do it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think Sony had a car, or they were gonna make a car.
Yeah, that was this partnership with Honda.
I thought they had their own also, but then they canceled it like immediately. Maybe because they were doing a partnership with Honda. A DualSense controller is a great way to control things, but is it better than a steering wheel?
No, it is not. This is a bad idea.
Is this just like how a Tesla can like come out of a parking space?
Probably.
Is it like that? Like you're basically gonna just drive it around your driveway and like that's it?
Yeah.
Like
I don't know.
as like a fun little thing going like 5 miles an hour.
I can see this going incredibly wrong because like DualSenses have batteries that drain pretty quickly.
True. To get like 5 hours on it.
So I don't think that's a good idea.
What's the name of the car?
Afeela. Afeela.
Okay, it was the Sony Vision S in 2020.
Okay.
And then when did they partner with Honda?
2021.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, it was the Sony Vision S, and then they canned it immediately to start a partnership with Honda because they were like, well, let's just
work with an actual car company.
Yeah. Dick drift, haha. Stress those. All right. Next up.
All right, last bit of CES news. We're getting covers for the PlayStation 5 Slim.
I'm noticing there's no black. These are These are all metallic.
Yeah, so this is part of what the hell was that collection called? The three most recent colors they came out with: the cobalt blue, the volcanic red, and the silver, the sterling silver.
Mm-hmm.
What was that collection called? It had a specific name, but now we're getting side plates for the slim model. These came out for the regular model. Now they're in the slim model.
But do we have black yet?
No.
What the fuck? PlayStation Slim. What do they call them? Side panels?
Yeah. Black side plates are in the works.
They have them on AliExpress for $9.50. That's really annoying because that's the only ones that
people actually want.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not getting people are gonna
want this. I have I got the volcanic red controller for Christmas, and it looks nice. It looks primo. Okay. So if I didn't have the Spider-Man's PlayStation, I would definitely get these.
That's a good thing to have with your Spider-Man PlayStation is the red.
Yeah.
Nice. Good compliment. All right. That's it for CES, I guess.
Yeah.
It's time to get into the real news.
Yes.
Like, for example, Kim Kardashian's game shutting down, guys.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Tear.
For everybody who has all of your hours. And I actually heard about this via TikTok. I was watching. Just a random TikTok came up, and it was a woman just absolutely devastated. She was number, I think, 11 in the world ranked in this game. This game apparently has been around for like 10 years.
Yeah.
And she's been playing it every day for 10 years. She's ranked number 11 in the world in the game. And she's like, look, I got my husband. And there's like a dude like in the game. He's like, how's it going? I got my dog. I got my kids in the game. And they're all going to be, she's literally going to lose her husband.
Yeah.
Because they're shutting the game down.
Kim Kardashian Hollywood, the celebrity's hit mobile game from Glue Mobile, is shutting down in April, just short of its 10-year anniversary in June. Booting up the free-to-play mobile game now yields a notice announcing that in-app purchases have been turned off in advance of the shutdown on April 8th. Oh, it's the day before my birthday.
Better get in all of your Kim Kardashian.
A Glue Mobile representative on the Kim Kardashian Hollywood forum confirmed the game's been removed from the app stores, but is still playable until April 8th for people who have already downloaded it. Kardashian told TMZ that she's forever inspired by the community around the game. I'm so grateful from the bottom of my heart to everyone who has loved and played Kim Kardashian Hollywood in the past 10 years. This journey has meant so much to me, but I've realized that it's time to focus that energy on other passions. I want to thank the Glue team and the many people behind the scenes who have worked diligently on making it a success. Then you have Glue Mobile statement. Kim Kardashian Hollywood was released as a free mobile game on June 24th, 2014. Kardashian wasn't necessarily the star of the game. The protagonist was a player-created character. Over the course of the game, Kardashian would help the player character become an A-list celebrity as they'd be starring all the way down on the E-list. The player character could book acting and modeling jobs, go on dates, and make public appearances. Fashion and unlocking outfits played a huge part in the game. Like other free-to-play games, Kim Kardashian Hollywood had its own in-game currency, K-Stars, which were used to buy clothing and accessories, as well as speed up the wait times between actions. Basically, it was a game about Kardashian becoming your mentor and a campy, casual game that played off its allure of fame and drama. I think this is one of those games.
It's a collectathon.
Right, but more so to the point, and down later the article says it, we laugh at this game.
Haha.
Because it's a silly game. It's a dumb idea for a game. It's a celebrity backed game that's just loaded with microtransactions, and it's one of the worst celebrities you can get. It's Kim Kardashian. Doesn't really, infamous, like, why is she famous type deal.
I gotta be honest, it's pretty much exactly the PewDiePie game that he had.
Right.
It's the same idea.
But the thing about it is, I don't think we truly understand the impact that this game had. This was like one of the biggest hits of 2014. It brought in like millions of dollars in revenue in a few days.
Made gamers out of people who never would have played a game.
According to the article, its earnings in a single quarter in 2014 totaled the earnings of more than 10 Glue mobile games combined. It wasn't revolutionary with regards to its gameplay. It was revolutionary. It was it was one of the most wildly successful games that centered around women. Kim Kardashian Hollywood wasn't the first game to tap into the female market for video games, but its success brought that market to the forefront of the conversation, letting players take on a role different from the white male protagonist typical of popular video games in the 2010s. It's along the lines of like Barbie fashion designer.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's like Barbie games did it.
Yeah,
back in the day.
But that was like in the PC market. This was like, what I was saying before, mobile games, the new frontier. And here is, a female focused game like front and center on that, and it was wildly successful. It proves that there's a market for video games outside of us, basically. Yeah. So
I'd imagine it has fallen off in the past.
Yeah,
10
I'm sure
years.
It has.
I like the memes that are in this article. One last drink before we die, and it's them at a bar in the game. One of them was down further. If Kim Kardashian Hollywood is gone, what are you wearing to the funeral? And there's literally funeral outfits in the game.
Yeah. So there you go. Another video game. Another high-profile, arguably important video game, scrubbed from the annals of history.
Arguably important.
Yeah. Preservation matters. Let's get the Video Game History Society on this. Preserve Kim Kardashian Hollywood. Let's get a famous YouTuber who is not problematic in any way to preserve this game somehow.
We're gonna need somebody to get an iPhone and buy every
single microtransaction for this game.
Speaking of that, though, I'm not gonna bring up Gerard the Completionist.
I was gonna say,
but John Crawford in the chat said, "Did you see the news about an Apple Arcade game being delisted? It was made by Platinum Games and used the Okami art style." I did not see this. No. I know what game you're talking about though, because I've seen it before. I think
What's it called?
I think it was it's called World of Demons. It was in a highlight reel for Apple's phone.
2021 hack and slash video game developed by Platinum Games. Oh, 2021. That's
a giant penis. Look at this. Look at the first big end. Look at that.
Oh yeah, that's
like a big old chode.
Dick.
Anyway, yeah, this game looks really cool, and I saw it in like one of the highlight reels or something. And apparently, it's gone forever.
That's insane. Yeah, removed from Apple Arcade January 18th and shut down. Will shut down on February 1st.
It was only ever released on iOS devices. And maybe that Platinum Games plans to expand this reach with a standalone release, and that the title's Apple Arcade exclusivity was timed. But for now, the studio has not expanded on its future plans for the title. I'd imagine if it's off of Apple Arcade, there's probably just some poor planning there. But if it's off of Apple Arcade, it'll probably come back up on Google Play and on iOS.
Maybe.
Like, regular.
I know, like, Apple Arcade versions of games have to be a specifically made version of the game. Like I think it's Sonic Dash. There's the regular version of Sonic Dash, and then there's the Apple Arcade version of Sonic Dash. You know, and if you're subscribed to Apple Arcade, then you can play that version of Sonic Dash. But if you're not, then you can't play that version. You have to play the other version.
Have we talked about Sonic Dash like since it came out?
So, you're talking about Sonic Dream.
Oh, I'm talking about Sonic Dream.
We have not talked about it since it came out. I got an Apple Arcade trial membership just to play that game, and the day it expired was the day I remembered I had to download that game, and I didn't get to play it.
Okay, it's fine.
I've heard it's very good.
It's fine. It's very good for a mobile game.
Yeah.
In terms of a game, it feels kind of just like a 3D Sonic game, which for better or for worse.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Hi-Fi Rush coming to the Switch. Wow.
Allegedly. Xbox hit Hi-Fi Rush is heavily rumored to be set for a rival console, the Nintendo Switch, in 2024, sparking a ferocious debate about Microsoft's exclusivity strategy. Insider Nate the Hate, who has a good track record when it comes to video game announcements, teased that a critically acclaimed Xbox exclusive is set to launch on a competing console platform. Recent era user Loliolio, nailed it, also has a good track record for video game announcements, then appeared to confirm that Tango Gameworks' Hi-Fi Rush is coming to Switch. Windows Central then reported that Microsoft has been exploring bringing some of its back catalog to other platforms, although some of the details remain vague and unconfirmed. IGN has reached out to Microsoft for comment. The reports have sparked a debate online about Microsoft's Xbox exclusive strategy, with some fans bemoaning the idea of an Xbox exclusive launching on a rival console such as the Switch or the PlayStation 5. Others have expressed excitement that games such as Hi-Fi Rush could get a second wind and millions more players, potentially helping to build the case for a sequel. The rumors come just 2 months after Xbox CFO Tim Stewart said Microsoft wants to bring first-party games to every screen that can play games, including rival consoles. It's a bit of a change of strategy, Stewart said at a Wells Fargo TMT summit in November. Stewart's comments were reported as confirmation of Microsoft's intent to bring Game Pass to rival consoles, but Microsoft Gaming CEO Phil Spencer subsequently denied such a plan. Leaves the door open for Microsoft to launch more of its first-party titles on rival consoles. Hi-Fi Rush launched in 2023. Could it set a precedent for Xbox games to expand to other platforms later down the road?
This is my impression of Nate the Hate saying on the podcast that there's that this game's coming to Switch. I know there might be a certain critically acclaimed Xbox exclusive game coming over to the Switch. I'm not gonna say the one that it is.
Nailed it.
But I know exactly. That's my impression of.
So I didn't have it here. I didn't put it in the keep, but there was an article saying that Hi-Fi Rush actually got rated in Australia for Switch and PlayStation 5.
Mm-hmm. That it makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Everything's pointing towards Hi-Fi Rush coming to the Switch. I think the Switch is a great place for a game like that.
Now, I wanted to talk about this in today's show, not just because it's news that one of Microsoft's exclusives is coming to another console. That is news. But I want to talk about the greater debate of what it means to be an Xbox exclusive. And like, you know, is the vitriol around Microsoft porting one of their exclusives to another console justified?
Who's throwing vitriol?
Fanboys.
Yeah, of course.
Microsoft, Xbox fanboys who have bought their system or dedicated to the system and want a reason for people to want to buy the system.
That's always been very lame. That's happened throughout history.
Yes.
And it's always been dumb because you're limiting other people. You're taking things away from other people.
Yeah. And I think
this is mine and it can't be yours.
Look, Hi-Fi Rush was one of the most critically acclaimed games of last year. It was a big surprise for everybody. It's only available on Xbox consoles and PC. We'll put the PC to the side for now. Xbox consoles are not selling well. You know, that's a fact. I think it's been reported PS5 is outselling Xbox 321, which is worse than what it was last generation. So putting this game, and also too, Hi-Fi Rush was not commercially successful. It didn't hit the Game Pass numbers it needed in order to be considered commercially successful. So porting this game, this well-received game, to other systems and a chance to hopefully recoup the cost makes all the business sense in the world.
Yeah. I mean, we've always said that Xbox, this is their thing, is trying to get people to play their games wherever they can.
Yeah.
And Hi-Fi Rush, everybody points at Hi-Fi Rush as a Microsoft first-party game that was good in the past couple of years. So that going to a platform that I think caters more towards games like this is perfect.
I will say there is some merit to the debate that exclusives sell consoles. Because if you look at Sony and Nintendo, they have the best exclusives. They sell the most consoles. Right now, Microsoft doesn't really have that.
Yeah.
But I think at this point, Microsoft realizes that they've lost the console war, like flat out. They still have a console just because it's the easiest way to get Microsoft products into the living room. But their gaming strategy needs to be different. It needs to be more expansive than what it has been in the past. So putting their games on multiple systems just makes the most sense. You're still getting Xbox-made games. You're just not necessarily required to play them on an Xbox system anymore.
And I think that's great.
Yeah.
I think that's a great precedent to set for everybody. Because now I love getting my games on Steam.
Yeah.
Because I can play it on... I have a million devices that run Steam. I can play it anywhere. So having that sort of flexibility is awesome. And what do they care? They're getting the money for the game sale anyway.
They make more money on the game sale than they do on the console sale.
Yeah, that used to be the thing that all game companies strived for. Was we want to sell them the software for years. We want to get them to constantly buy stuff on our platform. So what do they care if we play it on something else?
Yeah. And I don't think this is necessarily going to be for every game. Like, I doubt they're going to put Halo on another system. I doubt they're going to put Gears on another system. I doubt they're going to put Fable and Forza on other systems. But I think for like some of the lower profile titles, like Hi-Fi Rush, or even like the Bethesda and Activision titles, so that makes the most sense.
Edward Bova says, isn't Sea of Thieves coming to PlayStation 5 and the Nintendo Switch successor as well?
So yeah, that was another... Hi-Fi Rush was the most high profile of game that was brought up in this, but Sea of Thieves... There was also rumbling that Sea of Thieves is also coming to multiple consoles as well, which I think is another good idea. Sea of Thieves has been out for a while. You know, it's made by Rare, you know, who's finally has some mojo back after years of making fucking Kinect games. And I think more people who play because Sea of Thieves is also like a big online multiplayer game. So why not open it to a wider market for more people to play and get online and... You know, do pirate shit.
Yeah, having crossplay.
Do boat stuff.
Do boat stuff. That would be good to get expand the player base.
Yeah.
Make it more worth it to play Sea of Thieves.
Yes,
because game's kind of shitty anyway. Why not have a bunch of people in there, play the shitty game with
Yeah.
All right. I'm sure we haven't read notifications in a while. Chris BX, thanks for the 61 months. But Bandana Diddle, thanks for the Prime. And that's it. All right, let's plow through the rest of it.
Okay.
I have a whole box of shit we got to open.
Okay. Well, this will be really quick. Xbox is going to have another developer direct on January 18th.
And we know it's going to be in it already.
Yes.
They're just straight up saying it.
Yes. We got some exciting stuff. First of all, Willie's very excited. Machine Games is going to show off their Indiana Jones game. Wahoo! Let's go. Those are all Indiana Jones catchphrases.
We also have Avowed, Ara, History Untold, and
Hellblade 2, Senua's Saga.
I need to see Perfect Dark.
Yeah, there's a lot of games we need to see, but right now we're only getting 4 games.
I mean, I'll take Indiana Jones. Fine, that's fine. Yeah. But I'm most excited for something with Perfect Dark.
I've always wanted to play the first Hellblade, and I never got around to it. Mm-hmm. Maybe I'll because I know it's a short game. Maybe I'll try to plow through that because Hellblade 2 looks fucking awesome.
It does look good.
Oh,
Metal Gear Solid remake. Once again, we're hearing about that.
Yes, Metal Gear Solid 1 specifically. That's the important thing. A remake of the first Metal Gear Solid is reportedly still in development, despite Konami currently working on a Metal Gear Solid 3 remake. According to a report from the Spanish website Area Jungones, nailed it. A Metal Gear Solid remake is in the first phase of development, and it's one of Konami's most ambitious upcoming projects. The website previously reported about God of War Ragnarok's Valhalla DLC expansion ahead of its official announcement. It also mentioned that the Metal Gear Solid remake will be released on the PS5 and won't be on the PS4. However, this does not mean that the game will be a console exclusive, given that the Metal Gear Solid 3 remake is a multi-platform release. Additionally, there's no info on which studio is handling the remake, whether it's Konami itself or an outside studio.
I would love a Metal Gear Solid remake. I don't know if I want it without Kojima's involvement.
We're saying the same thing about Metal Gear Solid Delta, too.
Yeah, I want to play it. I think that I hold less... I don't think Metal Gear Solid 3 is as sacred. I'm willing to see what they're going to do with it. But Metal Gear Solid 1, I want a version of that where I could be everybody's got to play this right now. Because Metal Gear Solid 1 is the way that you enter the whole world of Metal Gear. Mm-hmm. And right now, the way to do that is Twin Snakes. But I would love a...
Right now, the way to do that is the Master Collection, which is the original PS1 version.
Well, I wouldn't recommend people do that. I want a modern Metal Gear Solid, the original story, where I can be play this and you'll fucking love everything.
Before he was let go, Kojima had talked about he would love to remake Metal Gear Solid 1 in the style of Phantom Pain, where it's completely open world, go anywhere, Fulton recovery shit and things like that.
The Fulton recovery is weird because that's a very later Metal Gear thing.
Yeah. But the idea of a completely open, expansive remake of Metal Gear Solid, I think, that's something he had talked about a lot. And he's not going to get the chance to make it now. Somebody else is.
I mean, the original Metal Gear, it's not open world.
No. But, it's more of a Metroidvania type game.
I was going to say that. It has a lot of backtracking elements. It makes it feel like Shadow Moses is it is a big map.
Yeah.
So having it be open world would be really cool.
Yeah.
Metascension in the chat says, hard disagree. Twin Snakes is inferior to the PS1 version. A lot of people think that. I completely disagree.
Those people are wrong.
Yeah, no, it fixes so much. Being in the Metal Gear 2 engine fixes so much about the game. All right. 13-year-old beats Tetris. He got the kill screen, and then news anchors made fun of him because he's a gamer.
Yeah.
And that's the end of that story.
Yeah, don't listen here. Don't trust the mainstream media, kids. Get your information from Twitter and only Twitter.
And people aren't liking Suicide Squad, and apparently they're still trying to deny that it's a live service.
Yeah, it's previews went up today, and all the previews are bad.
Oh, no.
They're all saying bad things about it. GameSpot in particular wasn't sold on the aforementioned live service elements, saying that the game feels conflicted in what it's trying to do and trying to balance both cinematic and storytelling and dynamic open world mission design. The game supposedly struggles to perform on either front. IGN, meanwhile, wasn't keen on the Suicide Squad itself, finding them difficult to root for when they do terrible things to achieve their goals. The worry being that at some point in the plot will simply reset itself instead of dealing with the consequences. What's more, the publication notes that there isn't much to differentiate the playable characters outside of special abilities. Basically, the gameplay boils down to aiming and shooting, and apparently the actual gunplay isn't anything to write home about.
Oh, no.
Eurogamer thinks that Kill the Justice League is just chasing trends, with Rocksteady having drifted away from the gameplay template that made it famous with the Arkham games. And VGC says that if you didn't already know, you probably wouldn't guess that Suicide Squad is from the same studio.
That's upsetting.
Have you seen the previews for this that have gone up?
I've only
That went up today?
I haven't seen actual gameplay, like people playing it outside of the studio.
So I did watch the IGN and the GameSpot gameplay trailers for it, and like it's people actually playing the game. It is a visual mess of like UI, like the actual game. Yeah,
I haven't seen a UI in the game at all.
Let me see if I can.
Because all the previews previously had no UI whatsoever.
Yeah, let me see if I can pull up.
I've been interested in the game.
Because like it's just got something in this corner, something in this corner, something in this corner, something in this corner, something in this part of the screen, something in this part of the screen, something in this part of the screen.
Yeah, it's all your live service shit that you gotta pay
it's
for.
Just I don't know. See if you can. I'll see if I can look up.
I'm just gonna click on Eurogamer.
Yeah.
Here, he's got they got it right.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there.
Whoa.
Yeah, look at that. There's like so much crap on the screen.
This looks like an MMO.
Like, what does it all mean?
Yeah, what is this? Just jargled numbers.
And you don't see it here, but they keep showing off like the, because you could do like the live service shit where you can customize your character, you can customize your weapon. Every weapon is like 0.2% better than the next weapon, so you got to swap it out, blah blah blah, and all this crap. And it's just,
this is all of the characters. I think these are other people playing with them. Yeah.
Okay, but still, like, look at how much garbage is on screen. Look at right now, like the button prompt takes up a good chunk of the screen.
You know what else looked like this on console? The Witcher 3. Remember that? There was like a million things on screen. I was like, people like this game? Yeah. It's because on it's a PC game, but and it needs to tell you how to do everything on console because every button does 4 different things. Yeah.
It looks like a mess.
Yeah.
Apparently the gameplay, like the actual like moment to moment gameplay is fine, but like connecting it all together is a mess. They showed off a boss fight against the Flash, and every preview like dinged it because like, how is this fun? We don't know what we're supposed to do. It's very confusing what you're supposed to do. It's very complicated what you're supposed to do. Which maybe the Flash should not be the first boss since he's, fast.
Yeah. Yeah, it should be something that sets the groundwork for the rest of them.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just disappointing because like the Arkham games are still considered gold standard in terms of like superhero video games or just video games in general. And now they're just, this is their version of Destiny. This is their version of Anthem.
Why is it so washed out?
That might be the Eurogamer video. I don't remember.
It is the Eurogamer video.
I don't know.
Is there capture like fucked up? Also, why is he naked now? All right, forget it. We're out of here.
Yeah,
that's disappointing.
I'm playing Gotham Knights right now. I don't hate it. It's better than Avengers, even though it's like doing the same shit.
Okay.
But I will say it's sloppy. Like Arkham, like the Arkham games, like everything was very tight and everything was very like designed like to lock into each other. Like the combat was like snappy and it felt good. Gotham Knights is like much looser in terms of like movement and combat and like how you traverse the open world. Traversal isn't exciting.
That's Warner Brothers.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's a different studio.
Well, it's WB Montreal, who did an Arkham game. They did Arkham Origins. So I mean, like they should know.
They did the worst.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if it's the worst. I didn't like it at the time, but I might have liked Arkham Knight less.
I know you say like Arkham Knight is worse and like you don't like that game, but like think about this. That came out in 2015. There are still people posting on YouTube and on TikTok and Twitter and whatnot, like gameplay compilations of that game and like takedown compilations of that game.
I've seen those recently and they look really good.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
But that's the problem with that is we had 3 games before that did the same thing.
Right.
You know? So it was like, all right, there's more of the same plus an element that's not exciting, the car.
Right.
So I'm saying it's like the worst one and my least favorite one, but it's still
better than like a lot of games that have come out since then.
Yeah.
Specifically games that are like, you know, aping the style.
Yeah.
I didn't mention this, but apparently with all the other like random collectibles you can get in Suicide Squad, guess what you could collect in the Suicide Squad game? Riddler trophies are back.
Oh, fuck you. God damn it.
It's a live service game, so you know it's going to be worse.
Yeah. Flo in the chat says, did you mention that Power World is coming to Xbox Game Pass in early access later this month? I did not. I knew it was coming out to early access.
That's Pokemon with guns, right?
Pokemon with guns. They actually, I think Kotaku said Pokemon with guns is coming to early access. I didn't know it was coming to Game Pass. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I'm surprised Microsoft wants to even be associated with that. I want to try it. I'll give it a try. That's it. That's all the news.
We did it.
We got
Well, hey, Simos, we did it.
Get the hell out of here. I mean, we got a lot to do. Well, we'll talk to you guys, but also I gotta find a tweet of the week. I'm pretty sure I have one.
Isn't there one or was that from last week?
It's from last.
Okay,
it's not real.
It's fake.
It's fake. I definitely. Oh, this one's the one. What was it? The Golden Globes that happened?
Yeah.
Whoops. Uh-oh.
Oh no, the show's falling apart.
And now,
okay.
Tweet of the week.
This is the video of Selena Gomez talking to Taylor Swift, and it says, so rather than admit he burnt the meal, he climbs out of the window and runs across the street to buy fast food burgers that he tried to pass off as his own cooking.
Oh my God.
It's like Selena Gomez is explaining steamed hams, Taylor Swift.
I saw a really good one that I sent to my wife not so long ago, and it said, so when they got to the property, it turned out the realtor didn't tell them that the house was attached to a zoo, and buying the property also means they have to run the zoo. But Matt Damon, yeah, he buys the zoo.
All right, we're going to talk to you guys.
Yes! Starting with people who left comments on last week's Wulff Den podcast over on the YouTube channel, youtube.com/Wulff Den podcast.
All right. God, I always get so lost. Jeff T Magic says, one of my favorite channels, and I appreciate y'all's insights. Thanks for taking the time to make this podcast and other videos for us. Super appreciate it. Hoping for a big Switch 2020.
Thank you
for watching. You read the next one. I'm gonna start opening packages. We got so many packages. I finally went to the pillbox.
All right. Eric C., I got engaged right after Christmas, and we are moving from New York City to North Carolina this year and plan on getting married in 2025. Will, what can I do to help my fiance plan, because she started planning literally the day after I proposed?
Whoa.
Well, I think you could...
Is that a red flag?
I think you could just tell her, like, first to take a beat and just, like, relax for a minute, because, like, you're going to get married. That's going to happen. I'm trying to think of what I did to help. I didn't do much. I think, you know, ask what you can, first off, ask what you can do, and then, you know, do it with gusto. Make sure you do everything right. Run it by her to make sure she agrees with everything. And yeah, just remember, like, you're both getting married. She's not getting married. You both are getting married. So you're a team in this, and you're going to be a team till death do you part.
Looks like a brick of cocaine.
It does look like a brick of cocaine.
Oh. God, I got so many things to make videos on.
Okay. We're just not going to show the USB hub that you got?
No, Ugreen sent me a bunch of stuff, and I don't need to open that on this.
Okay.
But,
the hell is that?
This is, God, what the hell is it called?
Pixie?
This Pixel. Game Kitty Pixel. This isn't, that's not what it's called. It's like it might be GKP. Okay. It's like the Ambernick Nano, like the RG Nano, but different. I do want to try this. I think there might be a whole video on this.
That is tiny.
Yeah, man. It's like a newer Miu Mini, basically.
How is that even?
Just put your finger right on the screen again. Jesus
well,
Christ,
stop
man!
It to me.
I'll throw it to you next time.
I do like the metal. God, no, this is not comfortable. This is not comfortable at all. I don't like this.
Here's a letter.
Okay.
Who sent that?
Genki.
Oh, Genki?
Yeah.
Company?
Yeah. Genki things.
I thought it was a person.
Well, yeah, the person's name is on the...
Oh, don't show it.
Hi, Bob. The entire team at Genki would like to wish you and yours a wonderful holiday season filled with quality game time with friends and family. As a special thank you for your awesome support, we'd like to offer you this unique $100 gift code for use on our site, either to treat yourself or to give to a fan. Happy holidays. Looking forward to exciting things in 2024.
Show it on the screen.
It's not in the card.
Okay. Thank you. Where is it?
Well, isn't that the box I sent you?
No.
Oh, that's different.
Oh, no. Somebody sent me and Wood a bunch of coffee. I got bad news for you. Best I can do is Will.
Sorry. I had Sheets K-Cup coffee in my Nintendo podcast mug today. Or maybe, I think the gift card is, the code is Happy Holidays Bob, all capital.
All right, one lucky guy
at Genki
will get a Genki Shadowcast.
All right, we're not done with reading.
Let us know in the comments if you redeemed that or something.
Nick Molnar 6589. Why does VR testing sound like an episode of Black Mirror? Because it is. It probably will become an episode of Black Mirror, if not this season, the next season. Bill Bolo 55. YouTube homies eating good. No waiting till the next day.
This I think is for Wood.
Okay. Well, he's gonna have to come and get it.
Oh wait, no wait. I'm very confused.
Okay.
I'll deal with. It's a bunch of coffee. I'll have to. It's from Gold Feather Coffee Roast. Thank you. I'll look through that later. I guess I have to give some of that to Wood.
Lastly, we got J-Dog Too Cool. Well, it's not just that we don't want to open Twitch. It's we have a pro membership over here on YouTube, and it's just super convenient.
I don't blame you. I have YouTube Premium, and I'd much rather listen to podcasts and stuff there because no ads and stuff. Like when I listen to a podcast, I do it on YouTube with the screen off.
Yeah.
The last thing I have here, I don't know who sent this. It doesn't have any markings or anything. This is an SSD enclosure, like a keychain SSD enclosure.
Interesting.
M.2 drive. And then last thing is a Gully kit, AK opener. It's the new King Kong controller.
Got it.
3. New clicky switches. Ooh. Got like the elite controller type stuff going on. Comes with a case. That's cool. Let's do a click test.
Lighten up already.
So these have weird looking keyboard switches like under each button. Oh wait, is that a switch puller? Must be. I like the idea of these.
I don't know if you. I was looking at the.
Ooh, and the ring is better. It was kind of shitty on the last one.
I was looking at the Extreme Rate store on Amazon, and I saw they have now a mod kit for the Steam Deck where you can make the buttons clicky.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I people have been studying. I just don't want to open my damn Steam Deck.
I was looking at like replacing the case, and then I found like you have to like unglue the screen. I'm like, no.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
The OLED is easier.
I did that with my iPad, and it's rumbling.
You can do the clicky button without removing the screen. That should be.
I might get new buttons though I don't have to remove the screen for that.
Yeah, no, it's relative.
What's the one you have? It's just black, like smoky black, or
the shell?
Yeah,
it's a smoky black shell.
Right, so I want to get buttons that match. Go with that.
You want black? I have the original black buttons. I still have them.
Yeah, I'll take them until I can figure out.
Okay. Hey, Wulff Den, did you get the Retroid Pocket 4? I bought it. I have not received it yet. So I'm waiting for it. I thought it was going to be in one of these boxes. Apparently not. I took advantage of COVID to get married with just a celebrate and saved so much money.
Yeah, a friend of mine got married during COVID, and it was just at his house, and then they zoomed it to all the rest of us.
I was gonna say, just do a Zoom wedding. We ate a lot of these Oreo black and white. We ate the whole middle sleeve.
The box is not that big.
Okay, you're right. You're right about that. Somebody said, "All right, who used the code? There was $2.02 left." Who used it?
Wow, yeah.
I gotta know.
Was it someone on YouTube?
YouTube, I think, is usually a little behind.
Yeah.
Let us know if you used it, goddammit. I got the Shadowcast 1 with it. George McFarlane, congratulations.
Nice.
I gotta hit them up because the Shadowcast, the 4K, the one that's 4K but tiny. I forgot what that one's called.
Yeah.
Shadowcast 2 maybe. It flickers. The image flickers, and I can't figure out how to get rid of it. I got the Covert dock too with the code. Oh, so two people bought two things?
Okay.
George McFarlane and Bearded Stitch. Did you guys get two different things? That's kind of great.
Yeah.
That you guys were able, that a bunch of you were able to get something out of it.
The gift that keeps on giving.
Whoever used it first, they only used $50. Someone else got $48. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Congrats. Thank you, Genki. I'm gonna hit them up because I also want to ask them to fix my friggin' 4K Pro. All right. What do you all think of Flippy Drive? I am more and more interested in it. That's the GameCube hack where it's an optical drive hack, but you could still use the optical drive.
What do you mean?
You put basically a Raspberry Pi in the optical drive, so you can play ROMs off of it.
Okay, I gotcha.
But you could still use the optical drive.
That's cool.
The previous hack, you couldn't use the optical drive.
Yeah, I know the previous hack was just replace the disk drive with an SD card. So, that's cool.
I'm interested in it. Yeah, looks cool. But I gotta get another GameCube because I don't want to use.
And GameCubes are expensive now.
Much as I could have gotten one for like $9 when I was in Japan. An orange one. I could have gotten an orange.
Oh, that's the one you want.
I know.
I got mine like 2018. It was like $50. And now I know they're a lot more than that.
That's a good deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, like $100.
Yeah.
Now, I got a question for you, Will.
Yes.
If you were to want to get a dog's paw on a stick, like a prop, like a prop, like a paw on a stick, so you can put it in frame and do, you know, like Triumph, the insult comic dogs, paw on a stick. How much you think? The only one I could find, $1,200.
Is it a real dog's paw?
It might be. I'm gonna have to sit outside of a vet clinic.
Here's what
I'm so sorry for your loss. Could I borrow?
Here's what you do. You just buy a plushie that looks exactly like Zim.
I'm trying.
And cut the foot off.
I'm trying. That's what I'm gonna end up.
Yeah,
but it's gotta be a big plushie.
Yeah,
you know,
it's gotta be life size.
Yeah. I feel like you can get the whole dog for $1,200. That's what I'm saying. 3D print? You can't 3D print a dog's leg. All right. My Chrome once again froze. I don't know what's going on.
Okay.
Chrome on here has maybe I should reinstall it. It's been shady on my
MacBook. I should reinstall Chrome on mine too. I've been using Safari whenever we do this stuff because it's just more stable. I don't even like Safari.
Interesting. All right. Well, thanks for hanging out, everybody.
Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching us. Thank you for chatting with us. As always, the Wulff Den podcast is every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern right here on twitch.tv/WulffDen and youtube.com/WulffDen podcast. If you can't make the show for any reason at all, we also put the archive version over on youtube.com/WulffDen podcast, so you can go and watch us on demand whenever you want. But if you prefer to listen to us rather than watch us, you can do that as well, because we're also an audio podcast on any and every podcast service, be it Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube Podcast, or whatever the hell they call it. No matter where you get this show from, folks, please be sure to subscribe, rate, and review us, because that helps us with placement on all of those respective platforms.
I'll be live probably on Thursday. I will also have a video out on Thursday. Thanks. Hey, if you made it this far, you should like the YouTube video.
Yes.
I'm currently rating Jackson. So go say hi to Jackson over on Twitch. Thanks for being here. See you later. Goodbye.
Bye.
Wulff with a goddamn raid! Listen, I've been saying for years the Wulff Den podcast is my favorite podcast. I've been saying for years. Put a 1 in chat if you guys agree. Where are my agreeers with that? That's what I'm saying. I've been saying that. Bob. Bob, hello, how are you? I missed you dearly. I hope you're doing well. I hope we can, like, sit down, play some games sometime.